God. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglash for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Well, it was just a little above freezing today. I put on my cold weather gear and I got out on my motorcycle and I thought I would show you this. It's made me laugh. And I'm a motorcycle guy, and that's probably a good way to start because here I got this. I wrote to Ann. I reached out and connected with her. I said I would be talking about her tomorrow. And so here's an article from CNN. And as you know, I don't usually cite CNN articles, but I'm into type fonts. I've always enjoyed type fonts. But I was a little concerned right off the bat when it started with close your eyes and imagine the font you'd use to depict the word Chinese. Now, I've tested this with several convenience sample members. That means I asked my wife and my style consultant. And I said, what do you think? Could you imagine a font? She said, Arial, which is, of course, a woman's name. I'm not sure men are allowed to use Arial. Helvetica, that sounds like a woman's name, too. I'm not sure we're allowed to use any fonts, except what would be Bookman, maybe? That sounds like a male name. Garamond? Well, maybe. I'm not sure. Plus, I don't think I can envision almost any font. One of the virtues of fonts is that they take a style element and build it into words, and they build it in as an emotional content to just regular words. And so they take you back to a place. Like we ate in a really great Chinese restaurant in Chinatown in London when my wife and I visited there, and it was fantastic. It wasn't the cleanest looking place, but the food was just out of this world. And I remember in New York City going to Chinatown and eating, and Boston and San Francisco and Toronto. I'm a big fan, and my friend Nancy owns the King's Walk in town here, and she knows us all by name, Susan mostly, because that's what we always call in the order. And she uses a Chinese font, which is okay because she's Chinese. But I'm a little concerned about this move here. It basically, because here's Chinese restaurants. I looked up Chinese restaurants near me and Chinese signs, and many of them use Helvetica with a combination of Chinese calligraphy. But here's the part where I get lost. It's hard not to cringe at the Chinese stereotypes. You mean like, I don't know what, chopsticks? I don't know. And they've been used to stoke xenophobia. You know what else has been used to stoke bad things? Words. I'm not sure we're allowed to use words anymore either, because words can be used for good or for evil. And these look like evil words to me. And that's enough of that. You can get the entire article. It's a long article. Yes, there's been some bad signs, but don't forget, we were at war, and tens of thousands of young men died fighting the Japanese, who were afraid that we would end their oil supply, and that's why they basically attacked Pearl Harbor. They were afraid of the economic consequences. Meanwhile, they were attacking China and mercilessly slaughtering Chinese. Let's not get into the history of all of this, you know. Yeah, this is wonton, this is pad thai, this is in Chinatown, and here's a positive. I believe this is Japanese. Tokyo restaurant uses a Oriental style font. I just don't think you can start calling out systematic racism. I don't believe in systematic racism. I know that there are countries that have started wars, and some of them are now allies, some of them are not. That's the way it is. That's the way human history is, right? But to say that doesn't mean that fonts are evil. Fonts are fun. And so anyway, let's go on. Minuteman, I thought I'd get some thumbs up on that, but I'm not getting much of anybody. Maybe nobody's on here. Maybe I shouldn't talk about controversial stuff. Anyway, Minuteman Press. This is a really great article about Barry Landowski in Germantown and how Minuteman Press has been a stalwart of the community, and how Minuteman has helped him find new customers. And it's not really about mail; it's about printing. But I liked it, and apparently Minuteman has supported him a lot. Let's go over to this one. 8% of direct mail items lead to a website visit. This was interesting. This was in the UK. And the interesting part was that now, I have a hard time with these global overall numbers, but that's a pretty good number. How many emails lead directly to even a click-through? Nothing like that. Okay, what was interesting was that the mail did 8%, but the door drop items did only 2%. And so there's something about occupant or door drop or other things that takes away its credibility, maybe, or importance or impact. And as USPS aims more and more at less and less, they're moving in that direction, and I want them to note this in the UK, that when all that's delivered is unimportant mail, it doesn't matter how much you put in my informed delivery, I'll ignore that and I'll ignore my mailbox. So keep performance up. Keep performance up. Let's not take mail from 2-day delivery across the country to 10. It's not going to help anything, right? Mail right now in the UK is a 5.2% share of all media spend. It says it's perceived by marketers as 10th, which is last. Mail is perceived as the worst. As the worst. It's supposed to grow for the first time in the last 8 years. But brands are underinvesting, and that's part of what I wanted to say today. So Ubiquity Analysis places direct mail in 6th for effectiveness. Now, what's interesting is that when we're talking about effectiveness, we're talking about driving traffic to the web. And, that's a big part of informed delivery with their add-on product. What's tragic is that most of the attribution allocation will then call the order a web order on a last touch basis, right? Or on a cookie basis, or on a lot of ways that they work. And so mail will not get full credit, and if you're a retailer, mail might drive them to the stores. They might, on their way, look at the menu. They've already made the decision. Causally, the mail triggered it, but again, attribution will take that away from mail. So it's very, very important, and I'm going to be talking about this tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about testing, and it's very important to use matchback analysis, not algorithmic attribution analysis. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow. But here's a great article that I wanted to get to. Fazoli's, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Fazoli's big winner. 215-unit Italian chain had more than 200 weekly sales records set in first quarter. Okay, and their fiscal year was up 10%. Now, I don't know what their fiscal year is, but they set 550 records in that time span. And they did a lot of things. We're not going to get into a lot of the things, but they returned to advertising with outdoor billboards. Culver's does a lot of outdoor. And direct mail coupons, reaching new and lapsed customers. And from that point on, they did this, and I'm trying to see when exactly they did it. Customers lined up out to the street, so the stores had to place cones outside. While the number of restaurants overall nationwide began to contract, Fazoli's went outdoor and direct mail. And that's really important, right? And uh, they went to existing customers. You know, I've been talking with the CEO of Red Lobster a bit, and he's very confident that the digital and the app usage will drive traffic. And it's like, why not mail those people? It is really much more effective, and test it. We could absolutely test it. And so, if you're out there, Kim, let's talk. That's what I've been saying for months and months and months. Anyway, there's a long article. They introduced wings. They're introducing Asian cuisine. Heaven help us. I hope they don't use Asian fonts, or CNN will be after them. And let's have a great day. It's great news, and mail is at the heart of it. So do mail. I'm John Miglash. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart.